Okay. First of all, you cut your clip however you want. Let me just get a decent clip. I'll go do this part. Okay. So basically, what you do, first of all, you click on time remap. First you right click, then click on time remap. You can also do Control T. Yeah. Second of all, you keyframe the first frame of the clip. And every single time you see a movement happen in clip, at least like to the character themselves, because the background usually moves too, but like that's not important. Like the character itself actually needs to move. That's when you keyframe the time remap again. So you can just keep pressing page down, which is next frame, until she moves, and just keep doing that the whole entire time. Okay, perfect. Now what you do, you zoom in. This is a really tedious part, but you just put every keyframe right next to each other. There you go, you're done now. Now what you want to do is you're going to pre-compose it. You're going to click on move all attributes into new composition. You can call it whatever you want. I'll just call it clips 1. And you click on OK. What's also handy is just putting adjust composition duration to the times but not select layers. It's also just a handy feature, so you don't have to cut it again. So there you go. And this is the point where you add your Twixtor. I always use Twixtor Pro. I feel like I get better results with it, so I'm going to add it. First of all, you make warping forward. You make main background sensitivity 100. What you can also do is do contrast/edge enhance. I don't usually do it. Sometimes it looks slightly better, sometimes it looks slightly worse. It just depends. Now, the frame rate depends on the composition itself. If your composition is like 30 FPS, now you make this 30 FPS. Some people say to make it 24 FPS, but like that only really helps if your composition itself is 24 FPS. You may be asking why. Well, I mean, basically, the clip itself is 24 FPS. And usually, if you do it the other way around, for example, like this, if you just pre-compose it first, then go in it and now time remap it. That is some people also do it this way. Then you'll have to make the Twixtor 24 FPS. But if you're in the actual normal composition itself, just doing it in 30 FPS will look way better, and 24 FPS will just give it stutters. Okay. Now what you're gonna do is you go to the first frame, and you're gonna make the speed 20 or 30%, whatever you want. And there you go. You already have some decent Twixtor. You can make it slower, faster, whatever you want. Also, always turn the audio off. It'll look really fucking, it'll sound really fucking shit. There you go. Now I'll also show a time remap. Let me just make the speed a bit lower. 15. Okay. Now we're going to pre-compose it again with move all attributes again. This is when you actually name your clip. So I usually just do 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, I'll do like, let's say I'll do 2. There you go. Now you're going to time remap it again. Right here, you're going to cut the clip at the end, like the last keyframe, you're going to cut it. You're going to click on time remap, click on, so you're going to click on the F9. You can also just right click on a keyframe and go to ECEs, whatever. I just usually select this and press on F9. So now what you do is you drag this up, you drag this down. This will make it go fast at the start and then slower for a bit, and then it goes fast again. And that's basically a basic Twixtor with a time remap. Okay, zoom transitions. Very straight up. With the same composition you had before from Twixtor, you just add some motion tile. I already have a preset, but I'll show you how to do it. Just put output width to like 200, output height to 200. and you put a mirror edges. You can also make this higher, but I seen that if I put it too high, my I mean, it starts like rendering really slowly and shit like that. So I usually just leave it in 200 until I need more. Okay, so what you do is you click on a clip, you press S. Some people do it with adjustments layers or nulls. I just prefer to do it with the clips themselves because it makes the timeline look way cleaner. Okay, I'll show you how to do one that zooms in and then zooms in later again. So first of all, at the start of a clip, you make it 75. Oh, you keyframe, of course. And at the middle of the clip, you make it 100. And the last second or so, I mean the last frame, you make it 150 again. Then you select these, you make it an easy frame again. You can also just press F9. It does the same thing. Now, what you do, basically, what these curves do, this is the start of the clip. So if you turn this up, the scale will go way faster. You see? If you just leave it like this, it'll be a really slow transition. It won't look good. It will look really choppy, you know. So what you want to do is you take this and you take these and you both put them to the bottom left of this line where the keyframe is on. And you do the exact opposite of this one. You want this one to slowly fade in. So you put this one all the way to the bottom right, this one all the way to the bottom right, and boom, you have a standard zoom in, and then it zooms in again. It'll look really weird because the clip before it is the exact same. So I'll just turn this off real quick. There you go. So, now I'll show you how to do one that first zooms out. Okay, so I had to completely redo this part because my fucking OBS decided to be a little fucking piece of shit. Let me just fix this real quick. Make this 0 and get 200 again. Okay, there you go. Okay, I showed you the last one. That one should have let's see, it should have zoomed in and zoomed in some more. So now I'm gonna show you one of my personal favorites. At first you'll make it 75, in the middle you'll make it like 125. What you can also do is 65 or 60 at the start and then 100 in the middle. I usually prefer 75 and 125 because I don't really like seeing the mirrored motion tile at the edges. So then what you do is you just make the end 75 too. You just press F9 to make them ease frames, and you just make an inverse mountain. I mean inverse mountain and inverse bowl, basically mountain. So what this does, it'll make it zoom in really fast, and then it'll be kind of neutral for a bit, and then it'll zoom out again. Will look really clean, really nice. And it's good for a lot of different situations. Let's see. Now I'll do one where it zooms out and then zooms in again. So at first you'll do 200. Of course, you keyframe it and you go to like the middle. You make it 100. You go to the end and you make it 150 again. Of course, you make them ease frames again. I've already made them ease frames, sorry. And now you just make it a bowl. So then again, it'll zoom out really fast because they are both to the bottom left, which basically means it's like really fucking, you know, it like drops really fast. And the exact opposite for the end, it'll scale in at the last second and it'll look really good. Now, I mean, it's just basically experimenting what you like. There are way more like combinations with what you can do. What I'll also show you is a quick rotation. So what I usually do is I go to like the middle of the clip or at the start, depending of how long the clip is. For example, for this one, I would do it at the start and then like keyframe at the end too. But for this one, it's quite a long clip, so I'll just keyframe it in the middle. At the end, make it 35. Make them ease frames again. Drag these both to the bottom right. And there you go. You have a nice rotation for this one. Now you also need to do it for the clip right after, or else it'll look really fucking weird. Do the exact opposite for this one, minus 35 and 0 at the end. Of course, you keyframe it. You F9 to make them ease frames again, so you can use the graph. This one to the top left, this one to the top left. And boom, you have a nice rotation transition. Also, always add motion tile to the other clip as well, because if you don't, you will see that the edges will be completely fucked. Of course, also add skills to the other one, or else, you know, like, it will just look so fucking weird, man. Also, like I said before, adjust the motion tile to whatever you need. If you need some more motion tile, just add it, but don't add too much, or else it'll cause problems. There you go. And you have a clean transition. Super simple. This is basically what you do for skills and rotations. There's also some other variations. You can even do it with adjustment layers or nulls, whatever. So with adjustment layers, you could just do transform. And then you can do skill, you can rotate, you skill, whatever, you know. So yeah, that's basically it. Okay, now I'll show you how to do a few simple shakes. First of all, you always make an adjustment layer. Some people like to do it on clips themselves. I fucking hate that, honestly. Because you have to look at the keyframes of every individual fucking layer and adjust them. What I usually just do is add a big adjustment layer above every other clip. And I add my effects to those. So, first of all, you add a shake. Some people will manually do them. Like, I just find that fucking stupid. It takes way too much time. First of all, you go to the first frame. You go to the second frame and you make it like 2. You keyframe it. You add motion blur. You make the frequency like 3. Tilt, I usually do to like 7. This is kind of an intense one. And then you just go, let's say, like 12 frames ahead. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's go like here. Now we preview the shake. And it looks pretty nice, but it's still kind of choppy at the end. So what we do, you've guessed it already, we're gonna graph it again. You'll zoom in a bit. You can also just do Alt and scroll. We'll also zoom in, and you're just gonna make it fade out a bit faster. And like you see, it's way cleaner. Looks good. Yeah. Now I'll show you some basic XY shakes. So again, you add a shake. And this one's kind of way different. Because for this one, you want to have amplitude at like 2. I usually do frequency at around 18 to 20. Add motion blur, make the motion blur length 2. Get rid of X shake, get rid of Y shake, and get rid of tilt shake. So I usually do my frequency around 4. Y around frequency 4. Do keep in mind this is my heavy XY shake. You can also like always adjust it. I usually do rep X and Y no because it looks shit, and I just use the motion tile for the edges. So what you do every single time, you make this like 130, go 1, 2, 3 frames back, actually 4 frames back, and make it 0. And what you do is you go to the end and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and you do 0 again. So basically it's a quick one, looks clean, looks nice. You can also make it lower and then make it a bit longer. That's the quick XY one, and you pretty much do the exact same thing for the X one. So let me just get rid of all of my Y keyframes. So you go 130 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you press on U. So you can see all of your keyframes. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 0. And there you go. Quick X and Y shake. This one doesn't always look amazing, the XY shake. You have to adjust your seed a bit so it looks good. Or you just straight up add more amplitude, whatever, you know? Just fucking do your thing. Okay, I'll get rid of this one. I'll just add a quick Y one because I prefer Y ones. Oh shit. 30. 0. Okay. Can it fucking show, please? Thank you. Okay. There you go. Those are my heavy XY shakes. I also always add a background shake. It's usually around frequency 1.2. I mess around with the amplitude a bit, usually like 0.5. I don't want a really rocky one. Tilt around amp like 2, and you have a basic background shake. You don't notice it very much, but you can see it's still there. I think it looks good. Makes the clip look less stiff in my opinion. And yeah. I also tend to do the exact same thing, but with just a Y background shake. So I just make this like 192 for example. It's like 0. This like 0.2. Let's see. You can see that's way too much. So you do this, you make this a bit lower. Let's see. Let's make the frequency a bit higher actually. And amplitude a bit lower. Yeah, that looks fine. It's not really meant for this type of edit, but it's still fine. Yeah. Those are basically my shakes. I also do XY shakes, but like way less intensive. So, for example, I just do it like fucking 25 and I turn the speed lower, you know? So it looks way cleaner. And yeah. Okay, now I'll show you how I do an eye glow. Basically, first of all, you just start masking it. Just click here, and you can zoom in with just scrolling into it. You can also do Alt and, you know, scrolling whatever you want. The fuck. Okay, so first of all, what you always want to do is just cut out one of the pupils. I mean, not the pupils, it's the fucking. It's probably pupil. I don't fucking know. I haven't had a biology class in like fucking 1.5 years. Okay. So you invert it just so you can see real quick, and so you can do the other eye. You do the exact same thing to the other eye. Okay, perfect. You invert them, and you'll have two beautiful eyes pop here. First of all, I always have a second layer of the clip in the background, but just without the mask, so you only have one with the mask. Really simple. Now, with the top layer, what you want to do is you're going to add some S-Glow. You're going to make the glow from alpha way higher. I usually do this like 0.5. Her eyes are green, so I'll add like some nice looking green. Then what you want to do is you're going to add Shine. It's a trap code plugin. Again, you make you go to colorize, you make the color green. First of all you make colorize one color. It's way easier, doesn't really affect anything. You make them green again, and now you just want to play with the source point until you think it looks good enough. That's basically already an eye glow. You can mess with the settings a bit, maybe add a deep glow, whatever, just whatever you like. If you also want a key, I mean, if you want like the eye glow to follow your eyes the whole entire time, what you can also do with your clip is just select both the masks, then track mask, go to the beginning of the clip, make sure the method is in position, scale, rotation, and skew, and you just play it. It will completely track the eyes in the clips. Sometimes you'll have to adjust it a bit because like the eyes will go like wider or less wide, so every single frame you'll just like adjust it a tiny bit so it looks good. And yeah, that's basically how you do it. If you also want a bit more of a dramatic effect, you just straight up add S-Flicker. It'll look like she's a fucking animatronic, you know? And yeah, that's an eye glow. Okay, that's the last tutorial I'm gonna make. We're gonna do magic bullet looks. Here to search up looks. Of course you need the plugin. It's a paid plugin, but who the fuck doesn't crack, right? You just go to the frame you want. You always render it on full, or else look fucking. If you're gonna try and zoom in, it just looks shit. So what you're gonna do, you're always gonna make it full, edit, and you're gonna start. I always like to add a bit of pop, depending on how intense your anime is. Range anywhere from 50 to 100, and if it's a really edgy edit, I even add a second one with another 100 pop. In this case, it's not an edgy edit, so I'll just do one with 50. I'll add a bit of contrast. I'll go to post, I add a bit of curves, I lower this one, crushes the blacks a bit, and I do this one, just not too much because it makes highlights higher. You can also lower highlights here a bit if it gets overexposed. For now it's fine. I always add diffusion. I do like 10 on size and I do 1 on grade. Just keep it like this. You don't see, I see it a lot, but it just makes it look less edgy. Makes it look a bit cleaner, cleans it up a bit. I also add a vignette. I just make it a bit bigger. And then I usually make the strength like 50%. You don't like see it a whole lot, but it does add something. You also add edge softness. Got like a bit in the middle, make it a bit bigger. There you go. Now I usually make the blur size like 3%, quality 10. Makes it a bit less intense, but will make like it's fucking says it makes the quality a bit higher. It just looks better overall. You can also add some grad exposure. Make the stop a bit higher. Like you can see, it makes it a bit more exposed at the top of the clip. You can also do, let's see, I think it was range saturation, no. Colorista, no, not Colorista. What the fuck was it again? Or was it range saturation? Oh, for fuck's sake. Which one was it? Jesus. It wasn't range HSL. Oh, yeah, it was range HSL. So in range HSL, Jesus, you can make certain colors stand out more. A mistake a lot of people make is they just straight up add a hue saturation, just make the fucking saturation 200%. Looks absolute dog shit. Don't ever do that, please. What you just do, for example, you make the pink a bit more, so that'll be a bit of purple, a bit of red. There you go, looks fine. She has green eyes, so we make green a bit more. Don't overdo it, never overdo it, will not look good. And there you go. It's a bit more colorful, not too much, just looks good. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it for the basic ones. You can also add a bit of distortion. I do -10, so it's a bit zoomed out. Makes it look a bit better on the edges, in my opinion. Some people add haze flares. I don't like them. Look shit, in my opinion. Yeah, that's basically it for a simple one. If you want to, like I said before, if you want to have a really fucking edgy one, just add 100 pop. Make the exposure lower. You can crush the blacks a bit more. You add a bit of film grain. Make you do color off, and you'll have an edgy CC. And yeah, if you want a stylish CC, let's see. For example, you can add some chromatic aberration. I usually just add, do this to this, do this to place it behind the edge softness, so it still gets softened up. And yeah,